What's going on, guys? So this is going to be a continuation of the string formatting video series. Now this is part 2, so we'll be using a different style of string formatting. In this case, we'll be using the format parentheses. Alright, so instead of just me trying to explain format parentheses, I think it's better if I just go through some examples so you get a better understanding of how it works. So taking a look at the first example, you'll see that it's a lot easier than the C-style string formatting. This is because we don't have to specify integers or strings, etc. Alright, so we have two variables, name and age, Holden Ford and 34, and we have a string template. My name is parentheses or brackets, and I am brackets years old. So these 0 and 1 and these brackets are placeholders for your variables. So you can feed in variables to these brackets using the dot format and then parentheses with your variables itself. So if you take a look, we'll see that we have string template.format, and within the parentheses, we're feeding in the two variables that go into the placeholder as 0 and 1. So 0 represents the 0th index and 1 represents the first index. So we're feeding in two variables, name and age. So name will represent the 0th index and age will represent the first index. So very simple. So let's just run this. And you'll see my name is Holden Ford. So where the 0 is, it's replaced by name, which we've assigned Holden Ford to. And age is going to be filling up the 1 placeholder, and we've assigned 34 to age. I find this a lot more readable than the C formatting style for most cases. Alright. Now we're going to look at another example. Now, in the earlier example, we were feeding in 0 and 1 to represent the indices. But in this case, you'll see that there is no 0 and 1. So the brackets, or maybe braces, are left blank, and Python will substitute the variables in the order which they're passed to the format. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different empty brackets, and name, age, hobby 1, hobby 2 will fill in those placeholders in the order in which they're counted. So name will go here, age will go here, hobby will go next, and hobby 2 will go next. So very simple. So let's just run this. My name is Holden Ford. I am 34 years old. I enjoy interviewing and reading. Alright. So in the first two examples, we were separating the string template and the calling or the declaration of the variables that we're going to pass into the placeholders. What you can do is you can actually combine them into one long sentence. So if you look at this next line, we have the entire template and we have the declaration of the variables within the same line. So if you run this, my name is Holden Ford, I am 34 years old, and I enjoy interviewing and reading. So everything was done in one line. Alright. So we're going to look at some more examples of the syntax of format, and the first couple of examples are just repetitions of what we did a couple of seconds ago, but the third example will be a little new. So these are just different ways you can use string.format. So here we have two placeholders without any numbers, so they're just empty placeholders, and the variables are going to feed into these placeholders in the order that they're counted. So Alex goes in first, and then 188.3675 goes in second. Next, you can have positional arguments where you actually give the index. So in this case, 0 will represent the 0th index within this bracket, within these brackets, and 1 will represent the first index, referring to 188.3675. Alright, so we've gone over these two. Now the next one is you can actually name the placeholders. So here we're going to name the first placeholder name, and the second one we're going to name it weight. Now these placeholders act as keys, so when you use dot format and you feed in the variables, you need to have a key and a value. So name will be represented by Alex and weight will be represented by 188.3675. So we're representing the keys and values with the keys coming from the placeholders. So the last one is probably the most readable, and you'll encounter it in a lot of source code. Alright, so we'll run this. And as you can see there, basically identical, no problems. Alright, so this should actually be weight instead of BMI. Alright, but you get the point. They're basically identical. Alright, now we're going to explore some more formatting options. So the things we learned with the old style C formatting, we can apply with dot format as well. So we'll take a look at that here. Alright, so we have hello, braces or brackets 0, your weight is braces of brackets 1 colon 9.2f. So here the 1 represents the index. So just as above we had hello 0, your weight is 1. So that represents the index, but the colon represents the start of the string formatting options. So here, if you remember in the earlier video, actually I could just scroll up. So these were some of the arguments. We had width, precision, length type, etc. Key, so key is the optional key you want to use. Flags, remember there was space, plus, and 0. So these were all the arguments you could feed in after the modulo operator. They allowed for more flexibility with formatting. So if we go back down now, so this colon represents the start of the formatting arguments, and the 9 will represent the width, the dot will represent the precision argument, the 2 will represent the value to the precision argument, and the f will represent float. So we have 9.2f. So these are the arguments that we're feeding into the placeholder. So what should happen is the entire width of this should be 9, but we're only going to be showing 2 points after the decimal due to the precision point being assigned 2. So we're only going to be showing dot 36, and that's it. So yeah, so 9.2f, and this is a float, so we'll be getting back a float. But if we run this, you'll see that's exactly that. Hello Alex, which is a name, your weight is, and we have this empty space because our total width is 9, but we're only allowing 2 precision points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're only taking 5 spaces with our value, so the rest of the 3 spaces are going to be padded with an empty space. So this should be pretty familiar to you guys if you really paid attention in the last video. Alright, now we're going to have a formatting with alignment. So if you want left adjusted, right adjusted, if you want to align your text, you can do so with formatting or dot format as well. So we'll take a look at that. Alright, so here we have the braces, then we have a colon. Remember, the colon represents the start of the formatting arguments. Now we have this, so it's the less than sign, a 6 and a D. So the less than sign will represent the alignment option, the 6 represents the width, and the D represents an integer. So dot format 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill in these braces with 15, and it's going to have all these formatting options. So less than sign means right alignment. So right alignment means everything is going to be pushed to the right, and we'll have left space, or we'll have space, empty space to the left of it. So let's just run this. So we have empty space to the left because our width is 6, but our number or value is only 15, taking up only 2 spaces. So as you can see, this is the default formatting option. So right alignment is the default formatting option. So if you want to do right alignment, you don't need to feed in this less than sign. Alright. So now let's look at another type of alignment. This is going to be center alignment. So this caret sign, I think it's caret, represents center alignment. So let's break this down. We have a colon, which represents the start of the arguments, a caret sign, which represents center alignment. Then we have 10, which represents width, the operator, or the dot operator, which represents precision point, and then 3 will represent the value to the precision point. So we have 10 as in total width, dot as in the precision, and 3 representing the precision value 3. And everything is going to be center aligned. So we have 10 spaces and everything will be center aligned within the 10 spaces. So if you look at this value, 15.3146, since our position is only 3, we're only getting it back 314. So I think it would just be better if I run it and you'll see that it's center aligned. Now remember, it's not center aligned according to these. It's center aligned according to the width 10. So within the width 10 itself, it's going to be center aligned. Now we have left alignment. Earlier we had right alignment with the less than sign, and now we have the, actually this could be less than sign. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. So I guess it depends on what you're looking at. So it's probably less than sign. So less than sign 5, D. So in this case, the width is going to be 5. The D, or the conversion type, is an integer, and we're going to be using 12 as the value to go into our placeholder. So we'll run this. Pretty simple, 12. And this time it's left aligned. Now, if you remember from the previous video, we can also add some certain flags. So in this case, we'll do 0 padding by adding a 0. So instead of empty spaces, we're getting 0 padding. And we can also add signs like plus and minus. So in this case, we'll add a plus to the 12. Now there's another operator that you can use, and this is the equal operator. And it forces the padding to be placed after the sign, if any. Now it'll just be easier if I show you the example itself. So here after colon, we're using equal 17.3f. Now 17 is the width, dot once again is the operator, 3 is going to be precision. And this time you'll notice that we're using a negative number. So we have a negative number, and this equal sign here only affects the sign. So if you want your sign to be moved to the leftmost position, you use this equal sign. So if I run this, you'll see that the sign is separated from the value itself. Now I'm not really sure what this is used for. I think it's when you pad numbers. If you're padding zeros, you need to first move the 0 all the way to the left and then pad these zeros. I'm not really sure. But here's an example with padding zeros. I think I got this from docs, but here we go. So you pad everything with zeros and the negative sign is moved all the way to the left. Alright, so most of these examples were string formatting with numbers. Now we're going to show you with strings. Now it's very similar, and all of these are just alignments. So let me just run this. And you'll see now with strings, you can actually pad or fill with various different characters. So instead of padding 0 here, we're padding with an asterisk, which based on my temporary experimenting, you can't do that with numbers. With numbers, you can only use 0 padding, and you can't fill in these various characters. But yeah, so these first few examples are pretty much the same as the examples with integer, left alignment, right alignment, center alignment, and the only new example is this bottom, where instead of padding with 0, we're actually padding with an asterisk. So you can actually pad with anything you want. So let's see. If I pad this with this symbol, you'll see that foo is now padded with this symbol here. And truncating works very similar to how it was with C-style formatting. We use the precision point and 2. So this will truncate and only allow the first 2 letters of the string. The next example is 5 width, and it will only allow 2 letters, so the rest will be filled with spaces. And here it will be center aligned. So let's just run this, and you'll see the first one, we're only allowing 2 spaces, dot 2, so that's why we only have FO. The next one is similar, but we're allowing for a width of 5, so it has to be padded with space, which it's doing. And the one after that is similar, but it's asking for the variable of foo to be center aligned. Now, just a few more tweaks. Formatting class and dictionary members. Formatting class and dictionary members using format. So you can actually feed in classes and dictionaries as formatting variables. So in this case, we have a class candidate, weight 188, name Alex. So here we're going to feed into the placeholder c1.name and c1.weight. And you'll notice that we're only feeding in one value, c1 equals candidate. So we're creating an instance of candidate, and that's the only value we're feeding, and that's more than enough. So c1.name and c1.weight can activate the two different attributes. So once again, we're only feeding in one value or one variable for two different values. And this is because the two placeholders are taking advantage or accessing attributes of one single variable. So if we run this, you'll see that it works perfectly. Now we could also feed in dictionaries as well. So we have a candidate dictionary, weight and name. These are the keys. So there's two ways to do this. You can actually feed in the call, the dictionary call. So in this case, C1 trying to access the name key and C1 trying to access the weight key. So you can pass it in this way and feed in the C1 equals candidate. Or you can do something which I think is just feeding in keyword arguments, kwargs. So what you do is you just feed in the keys, name and weight, and you feed in the dictionary with the two asterisks, which should be kwargs. So in this case, so basically all you need to do is feed in the two asterisks with candidate, and it will automatically match the keys with the keys of the dictionary. And as you can see, Alex's age is 188, Alex's age is 188. All right. Now, another thing you can do is you can create templates for your padding. So all we're doing is creating a string format for the padding itself. So we're giving it names, fill, align, and width. These are not keywords or built-in keywords. These are just variable names we're giving. So this template sometimes makes it easier than something like this. So instead of feeding in these, all we're doing is replacing these with variable names. So we're creating a template within a template. So hopefully that's not too confusing, but you don't really need to worry too much about this part. So we have a template, and within it we have another template. And all we're doing is replacing, once again, these with placeholders, which will later feed in as variables. So we have the colon, name, align, width, and we have string.format, and this is going to be our string, and these are the variables. A fill equals asterisk, align, and width. So if we run this, you'll see that we get back cat with the formatting options. So we asked it to fill center align and width equals 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's center aligned and it's filled with asterisk. So once again, all we're doing is replacing the arguments with these placeholders. So it's sort of like string formatting within string formatting. And this is just to make it easier to read. But it might be more confusing depending on what you're used to. So here's just another example. So this entire part is a placeholder. So we'll have a name, and within the placeholder, we'll have additional placeholders, fill, align, width. So we have name, and then within this placeholder, we have 3 more placeholders, fill, align, width. And then exclamation point, followed by your weight is. So this is just a regular string because it's not in the braces. And then followed by weight, which is going to be another placeholder. And then we have 3 independent placeholders, fill to, align, width. So despite this nested placeholders, you can see that we're feeding in these fill, align, width, just as we would with an unnested placeholder. All right, so very similar to the earlier example, we're just using 2 different types. And you'll notice that we use fill and fill to because we want to change it up a little bit here. So fill to. If I run this, all right, so basically, yeah, we get what we are expecting. And all right, next one, float template. So very similar to above string, we're doing nested string formatting. So in the first variable is the align, then the width and precision. So align with precision, and within this outer braces, we need to feed in a variable, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 6. So once again, let me explain that. We have braces or outer braces, in which we need to feed a variable. That's going to be the 123.236. And then within these outer braces, we have sort of these sub-nested braces, which will represent the formatting options. So align width and precision, align width, precision. And if you run it, no problem. 10 width, alignment is to the right, and precision is 2, so .24. It's very simple. Alright, so hopefully that wasn't too bad for you guys. If I didn't explain anything too well, just write in the comments and I'll try to get back to you and explain anything that was unclear. Alright, so that was part 2 of the string formatting series. So all we have left is Python F strings and probably some extra things regarding string formatting that I'll cover in the next video. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.